Hi, I'm Katrin Ericson, the Executive Director of the RUNX1 Research Program, a medical research funding nonprofit started in 2016 by a patient family, the Babbages. RRP is committed to improving the quality of life and preventing cancer in RUNX1 familial platelet disorder patients. This disease, RUNX1 FPD, is a rare genetic disorder caused by mutations in a gene called RUNX1. The mutations result in a lower level of RUNX1 protein in every cell of the body. But the system most adversely affected is the blood system. Patients suffer from bleeding issues, easy bruising, immune system challenges, including both allergic conditions and autoimmune disorders, and a very high risk of fatal blood cancers. Their risk of acute myelogenous leukemia, for example, is 30 times greater than the general population. So our vision at RRP is to prevent cancer in RUNX1 FPD and set a path forward for cancer prevention more broadly. Achieving our goals and vision is not a straightforward process, and there is no predefined path, and finding that right path will require the insights from experts across the many different facets of our healthcare ecosystem. I wanted to join the LeadersLink program because I knew that the connection and access to the multitude of experts within the broader FasterCures and Milken Institute network would be invaluable. There were two other reasons as well. One was to be able to have a mentor, someone who could provide guidance, advice, and just be a sounding board as I navigated my first role as a nonprofit leader. The second was to spend time learning about the venture philanthropy space and how best to prepare to implement a venture philanthropy strategic portfolio in the future. My capstone project was simply that. It was about understanding how and when should RRP establish a venture philanthropy program. How do I lay the groundwork for such a model? And when does a VP model make sense? And perhaps when does it not make sense? When might others invest without us even needing to? In pursuit of this roadmap to a venture philanthropy implementation strategy for RRP, I quickly learned from several discussions with FasterCures advisors that there are not that many examples of true VP success stories like the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation to model off of, and that building this roadmap will demand a lot of disease-specific inputs that one can't expect to fill all at once. I also learned that the financial structures implemented in some of these deals were either straightforward, generally milestone-based with some form of revenue sharing should something be commercialized, or proprietary, and that the best piece of advice I received was to partner with individuals who have had intimate experience in such venture philanthropy deals. So I decided that if I wanted to build this roadmap for RRP and potentially help others build theirs, I needed to really think bigger. I needed to understand the perspectives of multiple stakeholders, not just successful nonprofit leaders, but biotech executives and even academics. What do they think about venture philanthropy? When does it make sense? When does it not? My solution was to launch the Cures Playbook podcast, which you can find on multiple streaming platforms today. The goal of the podcast is to share learnings from healthcare leaders who have made significant advances in the diseases they are driven to cure. My interviews dig into understanding what are the key drivers for success, both from a business and a scientific strategy perspective, and from a leadership quality human spirit perspective. I've learned so much from the interviews I've completed. Upon reflection, there are 4 key learnings. The first is that one needs to have enough of an understanding of the mechanism of disease so that druggable targets are identified, or that novel modalities and/or technology platforms could be easily applied to modify the disease. This information is critical for a for-profit entity to feel compelled that the level of risk for failure in your disease is lower relative to other disease indication opportunities they have available to them. The second key learning is that there's a minimum level of capital necessary to pursue a venture philanthropy deal. In my discussions with several of the leaders, it became clear that engaging for-profit entities will typically require at least $1 million or more. The third key learning is the necessity for a well-established community with a significant number of patients and expert scientific key opinion leaders, because it's the deep expertise of the community that a nonprofit can bring to the table when engaging for-profit entities. It's part and parcel to de-risking a therapeutic approach. And the fourth learning has been all about leadership and teams. From every interview, I heard how critical perseverance and faith in achieving what sometimes may seem unachievable is a necessary ingredient. There will be many failures, but it's how you and your partner leaders respond to them and keep moving forward that matters the most. Thank you to the FasterCures community for building this LeadersLink program. My experience has been invaluable, and I am forever grateful. Thank you.